next presenter, Michael Wisniewski, is presenting on the sexual lives of buildings and spaces. And he'll explain that provocative title.
For the record, this is a different shirt than I was wearing in the film. Okay. So you don't believe that buildings can have sex? More than you think, not as much as they should, just like the rest of us. The solids and voids, careful architectural terms there, are not just rubbing up against each other. There's passion, there's gravity, there's unconsummated desire. It all started on Willard Street in 1992. I was struck by the tenderness and the yearning of these two towers. How, like Pyramus and Thisbe, they just want to come together, but gravity prevents them. But buildings will always be side by side and in a relationship with each other. Now, Picasso and Cubism shows us that the parts and pieces don't always get assembled in the way that you would imagine. They can be unusual. Buildings can be very fluid in their gender and in their sexual identity. And so you just got to accept that. You won't always figure it out. Just pay attention and check it out. Now, in spite of that, the solids always seem to rule. They loom over the sky. They're connected to the churches, the power structures, and the money. And the solids like to gather together and loom over the landscape. But there's actually more voids than there are solids, but they don't stand out as much. You have to search them out. You have to look for the spaces in betwixt and between. And I've spent many a long hour hanging out in voids in the day and in the night. But the solids and the voids, they get lonely. They want to hang out with other solids and voids. And so if you place yourself in just the right place, you might see them coming together in these spaces between the solids and the voids, such as the church tower right there and in between a void of a building. So you get a solid and a void happening together. Now, if you've had 12 years of Catholic school, including 4 years of Jesuits with no girls in high school, I might be tempted to spend a lot of time searching for what architects would call penetrations of solids and voids. And so sometimes you can find it, and it's actually, reaches out over those boundaries. The one on the top left, it was like I was just caught before this rainstorm, and there was this two weather fronts and these two buildings rushing towards each other. The weather fronts collided. I got thunder and lightning and rain all over me, but they forever cannot touch. They cannot move. On the bottom, you see that building codes mandate exits. So there's all this intertwining and embracing of our buildings. In a winter boatyard, there's a lot of cruising that's going on. And the only sex I found in any of the suburbs was this little strip mall getting it on with some trees. Now, the scene and the feeling can change very much with the point of view of the camera as well as the light. So on the left, you've got the solid really leaning in, and the void's kind of like, whoa, I don't know. But on the right, they've gotten a bit more relaxed. They're having a good time. And down below, the scene really shifts with the point of view. So because they can't move, the only way they can share bodily fluids is with clouds or with channeling water. And so, which is kind of mystical, and it was kind of like my 5th grade Catholic sex manual, which basically made it sound like people never touched. It just happened through the air. The agricultural and the industrial wants to get on the scene. It doesn't all happen downtown. So on the upper right, after a hard day of work, the farm hands get together and they compare their equipment. Solids and voids can get kind of bored and want to spice things up a bit. So on College Street, a block apart, you can get some kinky bondage going on. And also some piercings and some, strap-ons and sex toys, all getting added on to your building. Buildings do practice safe sex, although the one on the top it needs a little more education because it's not really protecting the right thing, and it has to have a discussion with the partner who wants to go bareback and show off the endowment. I was once counseled that if you want somebody to spend quality time down in your solid or void, you got to trim the landscaping. So somebody didn't get the message here, but I think that's a beautiful case of snuggling up there between the landscape and the building. It's very comfortable. Now, this red building's living the cubist dream, but it's trapped. It can't connect to anybody because it can't move. So acting as a flaneur, and definition will come later, I slowly twisted the camera because finally they can meet their partner and they can tango together. The most perfect example of having sex without touching is the Annunciation. And so I've been really impressed with light caressing buildings and moving across the dark materials of them over seasons and over time. And so a flaneur is somebody who is a dandy who walks around town looking and poking into things, just paying attention, trying to see deeper. So that's what I've been doing with this project, is just trying to see things in areas that you wouldn't normally expect. Now once you've seen this stuff, you can't unsee it. You're all gonna go home tonight, and you're gonna walk around Burlington tomorrow, and you're gonna be like, I am just seeing sex everywhere. And so the final tableau, if I've got it right here, this one's lasted a long time. There we go. So it's starting top and going sideways. Oh, darling, that was wonderful. Yeah, baby, boy, that was real nice. Oh, where's the condom? I lost the condom, I can't find it. Then 9 months later, a garden shed is born and shared between the families and the proud parents. Thank you.